Hey beautiful, today we're going to be looking at Ayurvedic hair care and children. It is definitely one of the topics I get a ton of questions about because people have had amazing results using Ayurvedic hair care in themselves. They're just wondering how young is too young, how can you use it in a way with children that minimizes mess and allows you to be consistent while fitting it into their routine in a very minimalist way. Well, today we're going to be going into all of that. You do not want to start Ayurvedic practices on your children without going through and listening to all of the advice in this video. Their hair will be thriving as a result. So if that sounds of interest, then definitely keep watching. But before we get into today's content, guys, check out my new swag. I kind of feel like I'm in a TLC video, you know, remember So I Creep? Our sponsors for today's video are Lily Silk. A massive thank you to them. If you didn't know, they carry an amazing range of silk items, including gorgeous pajamas. They have so many different colors, different shades of colors as well. And I really struggled to choose a particular one, but I went for this because I felt like it was super Christmassy and I love the detail with the buttons and the trim. It's absolutely gorgeous, really wonderful to wear actually. Especially I love it when I've just shaved my legs and you know, when you just like slip on your trousers and it's just hella nice. In any case, they also do wonderful pillows. If you guys didn't know, silk pillows are wonderful for keeping the hydration in your skin and hair, minimizing friction so that your hair becomes a lot less frizzy in the evening if your bonnet happens to kind of come off in the night, or if you haven't got a silk bonnet. This is a wonderful item for you to have because it's great for your skin as well as your hair. It feels absolutely luxurious, sumptuous. It contains amino acids which are fantastic for your skin and hair as well. They also carry a range of different size of silken hairbands and silk bonnets. This one is actually adjustable and you can just tie it at the back so that it's really nicely fitting to your hair. So I'm just going to show you really quickly into a low pineapple ponytail or a bun, and then I'll just go in, always making sure that my edges are covered. My mum and I actually discovered the importance of using silk as opposed to cotton because cotton actually has a higher affinity for the oils that you're putting into your hair. So you can go into all the trouble of doing all these Ayurvedic treatments, chuck it all in. You can go through all the trouble of putting in all these Ayurvedic treatments and all this goodness into your hair, and then it just gets soaked away every night for like 8 hours by your cotton pillowcase. Or you can wear a silk bonnet, have yourself a silk pillow, and make sure that the hydration that you put in is going absolutely nowhere. My mum and I actually learnt the importance of this because she was using cotton and her hair broke all the way around here, all the way around the nape of her hairline as well. So after that we never went back to cotton. Don't forget to check the description box below. There's going to be a discount code for 12% off, Curly12. It makes a great Christmas gift. It makes a great treat for yourself, you know, or you know, special time with your boo thing, you know, when you want to I'm sure you're gonna appreciate. Anyway, I'll see you in the next segment. Okay, so now that's done with, let's get into the things that you really need to know. I would say that I would avoid using Ayurvedic hair care practices with babies. From maybe the age of 3 and up, you can consider using Ayurvedic hair care practices, and maybe even from 2 and up. But definitely I would avoid using herbs, etc. with very young babies. What I would say is before you actually start using any herbs or any new oils for that matter, it's always a really good idea to to do an allergy test and also to do a strand test. So what I would say is you can grab your henna or your gloss or whatever it is that you're thinking of using, mix it up into a paste, and then apply it to the back of the ear. Then you want to allow 48 hours to see if there's any kind of a reaction over that 48-hour period at all, any redness, any bumps, any soreness. If there's any sort of adverse reaction, then you definitely want to stay away from using that with your child. That particular herb should be avoided with your child at all costs. The other thing that you might want to do is consider using a strand test. So you would grab a strand of their hair, apply just at the back of the hair actually, apply through the entire strand and leave it for maybe 20 minutes and see how that works. If there's no problems with that at all, then you are good to go. So there are some herbs that you really should avoid when working with young children that are completely natural but interfere with a lot. So for example, things like maca and ashwagandha, they actually interfere with hormonal pathways, and they're especially good if you are experiencing hair loss due to hormonal changes such as being postpartum or menopausal, but they would definitely not be ideal for children. Very good herbs to look into using for children include amla, aloe vera, and henna. So I would definitely think about using those three as your starting point. The other thing is you don't really want to go gung-ho with putting a full mask of, say, henna into a child's hair. If they're anything like mine, they might get a little bit freaked out by the color the water turns when you rinse that out. So what I tend to do with my children is I actually use a tea rinse, or I use a spritz of a tea in their hair, and that way I can actually strengthen their hair from root to tip, get all of the gains of Ayurvedic hair care, but avoid the crazy mess. I mean, could you imagine a henna mask in a child's head who's like maybe 2, and the resulting mess in your bathroom? So that is something that I tend to avoid, and it just makes it easy every morning to spritz their hair, or even after bath time just to spritz their hair down, follow with a leave-in, and then apply an oil, for example. So I would definitely recommending using teas in your child's hair care routine. So another really easy natural way to include Ayurveda in your child's routine when they're a little bit older and have the patience, let's say you're doing a bath time, after you have cleansed your child's hair, you can opt for using a gloss. Now what you can do is you can grab just a pure powder. So for example, you could go for just something like henna, or you can go for henna and aloe vera in a blend, or for example in the gloss that we have, this is the wrong one. This is the henna and aloe mask. It's got henna, aloe vera, fenugreek, slippery elm powder, all mixed together in a really lovely blend. What you would do is just grab a teaspoon of that, mix up a paste, and add your child's usual deep conditioner and put that through from the roots to the ends of the hair. Alternatively, you can blend up some fruit such as for example an avocado or maybe a banana, or both if you're going to be sharing, and you can add in a teaspoon or a tablespoon of your favorite herb. It could be henna, it could be the henna aloe mask powder, and then you can apply that to your child's hair from the roots all the way to the ends. Leave it in for just a small amount of time, however long they're splashing and happy to be in the bath, and then rinse out. Even if it's only for 5 minutes, they're still going to get a substantial amount of benefit, strength, and hydration balanced in. The only thing I would say is if you are using something that is a henna based powder as far as your herb of choice for your regimen, I would highly recommend that you mix it up to 4 hours, ideally 4 hours before application, because once you've added water to it, it begins releasing its active ingredient, which is the Leucinia pigment, and that is actually what does all of the strengthening, and it's fantastic for the follicles right the way to the ends of the hair. It makes a massive difference to your hair routine and regimen and journey, and will do the same for your children. So remember, all you need is to make it as simple as possible so that you can maintain it, go for a tea at first if you've got younger children, and definitely think about using a gloss as the children get older. Mix it in with bath time, and you don't have to leave it in forever. The steam from the bath is really going to open the cuticles of the hair, and it's going to be allowed to penetrate really deep into the shaft, and you will be onto a winner. The other thing that you can do is you can use scalp massages with Ayurvedic oils. So you can infuse an oil. Let's say you grabbed some coconut or olive oil and you grabbed some henna and you warmed it up and you left it to infuse. It would be full of amazing goodness, and you can use that to massage into your children's scalp. If your child has got finer hair, you can use it as a pre-shampoo treatment. Otherwise, it can be used if you just take the oil from the top. You can actually use that to seal the ends of your hair. Please do be aware though that it can stain, so that's one thing that you have to be very mindful of, making sure that you give the hair plenty of time to dry, and also make sure that you don't put so much that it's going to get all over all the fabrics in your home. You can alternatively actually use a pre-made oil. So this is a Curly Proverbs Fenugreek Elixir, and again it's got some wonderful ingredients: coconut oil, olive oil, it's got fenugreek, castor oil, it's got henna, it's got ascorbic acid, it's got tea tree, it's got peppermint and rosemary oil. One thing that you must be aware of is, again, you must do allergy testing with this, because anything that contains any aromatherapy oils or essential oils can potentially be an allergen. So you again want to just go in with a small spot at the back of the ear and just make sure there's no sensitivities and no rash. You can use this in two ways, either in your scalp massages, and what this does is it increases the thickness of the hair, it stimulates hair growth, and all of the hair that comes through has great shine and great strength as it's growing out of the follicle. It makes a difference to the hair before it's even began to grow. I found that castor oil on its own made a massive difference, and then when I started mixing it in with olive oil and coconut oil and all the different herbs and essential oils, it made a fantastic difference to my hair as it grew through. We have had testimonials of people who said there's been a massive mark of demarcation between the hair that they had before Ayurveda and the thickness that came in afterwards. These are ladies who've been natural their whole lives, but because they've been using massage and using Ayurvedic techniques, their hair follicles suddenly come to life with extra blood supply, extra nutrition, minerals, and their hair just thrives and grows through so much thicker. I mean, I'm just going to insert my before and after picture so you can see, I mean, what a difference it has made. So that is potentially what you're able to do with your children's hair as it grows through. The other thing you can do is you can actually use it as a sealant. You can seal from roots to end. I strongly suggest whenever you are applying this oil to the hair strands that you hydrate before. It could be that you lightly mist, or that you apply a leave-in conditioner and then you go in and apply the oil from the roots to the ends, being light-handed if it's not a pre-shampoo treatment, and you can be more heavy-handed if it is a pre-shampoo treatment. So I hope you found that information to be helpful. Remember, if you have any questions, if there's anything that's not clear, you can always head over to our Instagram and hit us up with your questions over there, or on the YouTube channel. It's the Curly Proverbs collection, or Curly Proverbs on YouTube. Always aiming to get back to your questions on whatever it is that you're curious to learn about, and I'll see you in the next video.